What's going on, snappers? That's what I call my audience, if you didn't know. So I was sitting down for this video and I was uploading it straight to YouTube, but it glitched out. It didn't save on my phone because I was doing it from YouTube and I shouldn't have, and it didn't save at all. And it was a 22-minute video and it was really good. So we're getting back into it. The point of this video that I'm making today is called, the topic is everything's a plus. And I went through so much stuff in this last video and it was so good, but maybe I get to summarize it a little faster now that I already went over it. So, and the topic of everything's a plus, it was such a good lead up and everything because it wasn't rehearsed, and I don't rehearse anything I say, but it was so genuine too. Everything's a plus in your life that happens. Now, things can be, you can view them as negative and neutral or positive, however you want to view them, and that's going to affect your life and how it outcomes. When you're neutral, because everything is neutral no matter what, but then when you're at this neutral way, which is all right, but that's a lot when you're out of the mind. If you're in your mind wants to take you to a negative or positive and have these up and downs throughout the day and go through them. So what you want to do, if you can't be, not everybody's a master and can master their thoughts and not be convicted by them and conceited. So when you have these thoughts in your head and you can ignore them, but sometimes, again, it's always there and they're always buzzing around. So this is where we're going to get into everything's a plus, because when you can't get it out of the mind and some things just holding on to you, lingering on to you, and it's negative and not benefiting you or being beneficial in the way because it's on your mind or it's just negative. So, like that. Could be a nice fan, but you guys didn't get to see. So, the example that I wanted to talk about, or that I talked about in the last vid, enough with the last vid, was I wanted to talk about toning and my thoughts on it. Well, not my thoughts, how I always thought of it as something that's useless and not beneficial and a waste of time, and it's not for me. And I always focus on strength and mass, and now so flexibility. Now, I'm gonna say I don't have nothing against toning at all, but this thought came to me every once in a while, like not even a blue moon, once in a while, just every once in a while. And this can correlate to anything, any thought that you have. So this would come all the time. Well, it would keep reoccurring in that sense, not like every minute, but toning exercises, because toning, it just makes the muscle stand out more, and it may build a little muscle, but not as much as like an actual strengthening workout. Toning's more for appearance and for looks, and I never really cared for that appearance and looks, because it doesn't really build mass. It kind of builds just shape and definition, and I never really wanted that per se on my biceps or on my abs or anything like that. And again, I focus on other things. But when this thought came in my head, and I had this feeling, it just melted away in me, and it felt negative. And it's not the end of the world, but it can correlate and snowball effect into other thoughts and just make me feel bad or negative, not feel good or want to do things or promote. So me it would just melt away. And like I said in the video that didn't say, was I feel like the witch off of Dorothy, and she melted away. Though I never watched it, heard it, and I'm pretty sure, and I heard it a bunch of times say, I'm melting. That's how I would feel when I would have this thought about toning, because this was happening earlier when I stretched earlier today, and I would have this thought about the toning. Like, I just had it real quick, and it was like, oh, you know, I was like, toning so stupid, or I just had a negative correlation to it, a negative vibe from it. Like, it isn't for me. And I'm not saying whether or not it is for me or it's not. It's just the fact that I thought about it, and it just felt like I was melting away. And this can bring other negative consequences and thoughts and energies throughout the day, and make you feel down or negative, or put you down in some type of way. But the moral of the story is, instead of that, like letting it linger in my head, I thought it as it was a switch. I just switched it. Hey, it's not bad, it's good. That's all. I didn't, and beneficial, whether it's for me, whether it's not, and whether it's stupid or a waste of time, or do you really need it, as I've thought before. And I could say all that stuff, but if I wanted to, but instead of attracting all these thoughts that I don't really care about and being in my head, I just switch. It's just a switch. Some people call this perspective, maybe even consciousness is a better word, but I feel like consciousness and perspective are a lot of off-putting words, and people don't make sense of those, especially big words and stuff. I like to keep it simple so you can verify with me and we can compromise. So when I turn that switch in my head, because words can't explain it, it's a feeling that goes on, and I just felt it, and so I wanted to expand. I felt better, and I didn't have exceeding thoughts. I just switched it in my head, and like I said, there's no words to put it, and it's not it's just a feeling at the end of the day. And once I did this, I was like, I just slipped on a couple rocks, even though they're all rocks basically. I felt better and wanting to expand, but the most important thing is I didn't have these conceding thoughts, and it wasn't holding me back, and I didn't feel bad. It was like a scale, and it was good or bad, and then I just left off on a good note, because there wasn't these preceding thoughts after that, a succession of thoughts that were going on. It just switched it. It was like, oh, that's it, you know, it's positive, it's good, that's it. It didn't, I could have taken it farther, but I was in control. That's what matters when you get to that point of in control. And this is when I want to reach out to people, because I was never taught or aware of, you could say, especially when you're younger, of all these things going on. So especially with the environment and what's taking in subconsciously and unconscious. Of course I was taking in, but on a conscious level I wasn't, and no one ever told me about that. So that's why I'm making this video, to make awareness about it and let people know how we can connect and build a community and relate to one another and see things going on. Now, some people say, oh, you can fake it till you make it, or being happy all the time, you're fooling yourself. It doesn't matter if you're fooling yourself, because life's a game, and it really is a fool at the end of the day, and you shouldn't take it serious. You should be happy. When you do this correlation, your physiology changes completely. Even if you smile when you're sad or something, I mean, of course you want to embrace it, and that's fine. You can be happy and have sadness at the same time. You can indulge in it, but more of the matter is when you, like, if you're just faking it till you make it, as I was saying, smiling and being happy and forcing yourself to laugh, you'll feel better and all your energy will connect, and you'll just have better outcomes and you won't feel negative. Some people, because what I want to attack here is some people say being opportunistic is, you're cheating yourself, or it doesn't, it's not really resonating with them, which that's all right, but they say like, oh, you're faking it basically, but it's all right because you're forcing your body's chemistry into a good state, into a better mood, and you're going to elevate all your energies, mind, body, and spirit, or soul, however you want to say, into a better stance and a better way to battle, and you're going to feel better and want to do things and promote. I made this video to ways to, bring people together and alert maybe young people or any people, and how I can relate to them. So again, when you bring this energy, like I'm sending this energy through what I'm recording with the phone, and then it's going to go online, and it's good energy, you can feel it, and then it's gonna affect someone else and have good energy, maybe if it reaches somebody, but oh well, it'll always be there and someone will have to see it whether they want to or not, and then they'll feel good and they'll do good things from this energy, and maybe they'll get alert and awareness about themselves, and then maybe they'll spread this divine truth and maybe some wisdom, and we'll move on from there. Maybe this will propel them to make a YouTube video, or go outside and work out, or just change how they feel about something. It's good to embrace how you feel. So I want to say, like, everything's a stepping stone in life, and you gradually make your way there. Usually don't make a leap to something. You can, but it's always it's usually better to take your time with things and realize what you're doing and maybe become comfortable with it, and then move and take bigger steps. You don't just do a split, because I was stretching. You could just do a split, but you could tear yourself up, hurt yourself, and it's just going to be hard to actually do on purpose, maybe accidental more so. But on a bigger note, I want to talk about actually doing something, whereas having your thoughts. Some people are satisfied with just having their thoughts in their head, which is fine, and some people, it all depends. Most people want to see it in the physicality, the physical realm of your life, so you have to project it. Your mind's a projector, and you put it in reality. You do it. You have to do it. You can be satisfied with your thoughts, but if you want to see it in physicality, then you have to do it. You could think about the hottest girl you want, or guy, and masturbate, jack off, and have visions and do whatever you want. And if you're fine with that and that's all you want, some people are totally satisfied with that. That's fine. But if you want it in real life and maybe more of an experience in the real world, then you have to do something about it. You have to take the thought out of your head and put it into action. And a great example of this is when I made this video. I had a thought, then I turned the phone on and I recorded it, and I made it happen. Now it's going on YouTube, and it's going to resonate with a bunch of other people. And another thing is, the video is at 14 minutes right now. And I want to say this about stepping stones and gradually making there. It started at 0. So it's moved on and progressed this whole time. And these were the steps taken. I had a thought, I put it into action, and we progressed. And this is how it goes. Also wanted to talk about moving forward. And I know these are subtopics of getting to, I'm going to get to it, that everything's a plus. And these are just ways and methods of getting there. And then we're eventually going to get there. I did cover it. Sorry, the last sequence of the video was different than this in a way, but so anything that happens in your life, you're always moving forward. You can't go back. There you go. Time travel. If you believe in a parallel universe or time travel, let me know. Tell me which your thoughts and evidence of it below is, and let me know how you feel about time travel and maybe your experiences and what you think about it, of course. But you can't go back, and life always moves forward no matter what. Not necessarily in a time sequence. Life just progresses though, which I guess you could say time is. Not a clock though. Life is always moving forward. So you can't go back. And like I said, maybe if there's a time machine or something. But for the most part, we are moving forward and we are progressing. We're always going towards a future every second with this video. We're always moving forward. So that's why it's when you look at things neutral, you know, you can not go nowhere, you could keep go somewhere. When you look at something with a positive and affirmation, reaffirming, you know, you're going to feel better and you're going to move forward and go on. Whereas neglecting something and being stuck in the past uncontrollably and not willingly all the time or more than you like will have negative effects, or you'll be stuck in there and be stuck in the head and in the mind and not getting out of there, and it could drive you crazy or something. And so I just want to say everything's a plus. Everything that happens, if you broke up with your girlfriend, it happened for a reason. You know, whether you guys fight it all the time and argued or whatever it was, that happened for a reason. And I know this sounds redundant, you might hear a lot of people say it, but it really did. And you were arguing or something just wasn't working out, you weren't clicking, you changed how you feel. Only you can change how you feel. You can't change other people, and people have to be willing to do the change. It's all up to you. You be the change you want to see. It all matters how you change, because you are it. It's almost impossible to force someone else to change. Maybe physically, but not in the head or mentally. They have to be willing to change, and partners together progress. But if they aren't on the same page, then they're going to have different mentalities, and some people don't change. I know a bunch of people that haven't changed all their life, and some people, and the people who do change usually change a whole 180. What do you know? What a coincidence. But if you broke up with your girlfriend, there was a reason this happened, and there was a lesson to be learned. But also, and again, you can view everything any way you want to, but neutral the best, but even positive, reaffirming yourself, it's okay. There's a new girl to come. This happened for a reason. There's a new girl to come. There's a new experience. You're going to meet someone who's better, someone who you like more. It may suck at the moment, and I'm going to get into an example to follow this up of my personal experience. But this happened because it was meant to happen, because something wasn't working right in you. Another person wasn't fitting you. You need to change, whether it was maybe her that wasn't for you, or something inside of you that needed to change it. Maybe you needed a break. If you kept fighting, kept arguing, for the most part, that's a negative thing. It's all how you look at it, of course, but it's more so correlates to a negative thing. Do you want that to continue to happen in your life? So you want to get away from that and not re-fall into the same situation. Of course, you can always go back with a old girlfriend or something, but it happened for a reason, so you should move on. And this is why you progress and moving forward, and you're affirming yourself. It may suck at the moment and you may not realize, but that's why I'm promoting this video to you, so you can see that, oh, okay, well, this is actually good, you know, cry it out or do your tears, or you can, and that's all right, you know, just be bold and move on. Though you're gonna, whether or not, you're always gonna move on. The sooner you realize this, the better you go, you know what I mean? And then you'll be in control, and you'll be like, oh, well, I can indulge in this feeling, I can feel it and be one with it, and it's not gonna affect me, and I'm gonna feel it out till I don't want to feel it anymore, because I'm getting in control. A lot of people lose control, and that's what the number one goal in life is. It is control, and have your consistency and do what you want in the physical realm. Now, I'm going to lead into my example, and we're going to cut this video, because I don't know, time seemed to fly by in this video. The other one, just different. But, so, everything's a plus that happens, and you might not see it now, but this is what I'm saying. I can give you to it beforehand, and this is what I'm doing through the energy I'm setting in this video, and it will propagate into your world, and maybe you'll realize this before. No one's helped me with this. My whole life I was around negative people and had negative influence on me, angry environment, a lot of bullying and making fun of me, and just being judgmental. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this, and it goes around all the time. Didn't have love or peace or support, or allowed to do anything that I actually maybe wanted to do, and always being judged. So I'm going to bring you to the experience of me and my girlfriend. Well, of course, the girlfriend that I had. And the thing was, I had emotionally deep attachment to her because I knew her since like grade school, like first grade, and I've known her for a long time, and we still stay in the same neighborhoods, and I still see her every now and then. And I've known her for a long time. We didn't really date till teenager years, but there's something deeply emotionally connected. And this feeling that comes up, I indulge into it, and this is like kind of on the up and up, but there's just this feeling of, it's weird. I indulge. It doesn't come all the time, and I can't really force it, maybe if I really tried, but when it comes up, I have the decision now to really be in this feeling. And what the feeling is, it's just a great deep sense of nostalgia, and it's really, and this can be with anything beyond this, but it's really impacting the emotional body, and it's really there. Like, you can eat the best diet ever, and it will improve your health, definitely, but on your emotional side, there's always going to be something. Well, not always going to be something, but it's not going to correct your emotional side. It could definitely fix it. It could fix it 100%, but it's not going to cure everything, the best diet in the world. On the physical matter, yes, but emotionally and how you handle things, maybe not. Definitely not. It's up to you to be that change. And so when I would get into this feeling, I had it a couple months ago, and I just decided to indulge in it. Or I could just be like, fuck it, you know what I mean? I can push it to the side if I want to. And of course that eventually happened, voluntarily or involuntary, but when it happened, I had this deep, and it felt really good. It felt really good, even though it was nostalgia. I know it was kind of like a past experience or feeling, and it was in the past, and I'm not trying to go backward and moving forward. It was something that made me, and I wanted to experience. I like how it felt, and it was a good thing to think about it and experience it. And it was just like, it was like a deep sadness in a way, kinetic energy. But it was happiness at the same time, which is nostalgia. It's like up and down at the same time. It's like, it's not neutral. It's feeling good and feeling bad basically at the same time about something. And that's how I felt about this emotional attachment that I had with her. And it's not that I'm trying to get rid of it, or I'll never have that again with somebody else, or that from her specifically, but then it will come when it comes. But I'm not going to force it unless I wanted to. And I decided to indulge in this because I wanted to feel it, and I wanted to get it. I didn't want to run away from it, or just move on. I could have been like, okay, just fuck it, it's a feeling. I just kind of sat there and just let it be a part of me and just witnessed it. And I felt it because I wanted to, and I was in control. So gaining control, that's what we're doing. And I'll just talk about the experience with her real quick, how it built onto me and how it prospered into me and growth and expanding. Like I was talking about, when you have that positive affirmation in your head, or make that switch, I felt I wanted to glow, I wanted to shine, I wanted to expand. I loved it, and I felt good. Whereas I was thinking like toning is stupid and I don't need it, and just feeling, I wasn't even thinking all these thoughts. I'm just trying to express it more in a way so you catch on to the mentality of it. It was just like a melting. Words cannot describe, because it was a feeling. But when I felt bad about toning, and all I did was switch it, and I felt good about it. That's it. I can bring more words and make you expand on it and emphasize on it, but that was it. I was feeling bad, about toning, and then I switched it. I was feeling good. If anything to take away from this video, this is it, because everything's a plus, and this is what I was getting at, even though I did in the beginning. But that's it right there. So the girlfriend, we would argue all the time, and another video, the best word was frustration. I was always frustrated because she was always talking to other guys, and she was just always talking to other guys, and I was just frustrated because of this, and just being in the environment and how I grew up and all these things that went on that negatively influenced me. And I wasn't aware of this. No one taught me anything about relationships or anything even close to remotely evidential as to this. So we would always argue. I'd be grumpy, and it wasn't like we would yell necessarily, but we'd be like, wait. We'd just be really grumpy about it. And so how this affected me was, I grew so much from this. I still love her, and I love seeing her. She still gives me butterflies. I know she still loves me too. We're not together, but it's really cool. She's a happy person, and even though I felt sorrow when she left me, and a couple times, because we came back a bunch of times and a bunch of things happened, and she's a real happy person. I wish the best for her, and I still love her, and she was my soulmate. It's perfect, but it's in the past, and I know we're not, I'm not going to ruin the future for anything, but I moved forward. But I've learned valuable lessons on a lot of things I didn't know at the time, but you become aware of this and amongst this. And so we would argue all the time, not necessarily yelling, but all the experiences I had, and I had no way to deal with anything or how to be calm or anything. From all this arguing that we did, and hate, and all this fighting and all this stuff, to me now, when people get angry in any situation or there's anger around, it just makes me laugh. Whether, I'm not really, I am. I'm just laughing with them, even though, I don't know, you can say laughing, whatever. I just feel good all the time because of this experience. Like, I don't like arguing with anyone now. I know how to approach myself. I got so much discipline. I know if I had to raise my voice, not necessarily that I ever do, but I know when to implement it, and I'm in control of it now. And so many good things happen because of this. And I would say even after she left me, and I felt this deep sorrowness and all this connection, and disconnection really, but connection to the feelings. The one that I hated the most was hate. Hate was the thing that it was more so frustration. I was so frustrated during the relationship. Even after, it wasn't even that bad, Nostalgia even feels better. The nostalgia I was talking about actually feels good, but the hate and the frustration just got to me so much, like literally so much. So I learned, like I said, I learned so much, and I felt so much better now. And I don't argue with anybody, and I feel so good all the time, and I'm so happy. This is just one event, but I don't argue with anybody now, and I don't raise my voice, and I'm in control now, and I don't have any anger now, really. And I know if it does, it comes from within me and not from other people, and I'm in control. That's what matters. And it's so funny because I used to be frustrated all the time, but now I'm never, which is a grand thing. So this is where everything's a plus. I didn't know it at the time. I had no clue. No one ever taught me to be aware and see what's going on. And I know everything's an experience, but when someone tells you from a young age, you know what to look for, and you know what's going on. You become conscious of it. And you can have that switch and do what you want. Now I'm calm all the time, and I love life all the time, and this is just one experience, probably one of the most grand experiences, but also one of the most traumatizing. Not with the sorrow and not with the sadness, because that was, and even though it felt good to cry at times, what I can feel right now, what resonates with me most is when I was frustrated with her. But I was probably, even though maybe she didn't you know, she wasn't doing this stuff on purpose, and we were young too, and I, like I said, didn't know any better. In the simpler terms, more convicting. But at the end of the day, I grew so much from this, and she wasn't doing this on purpose. And like I said, I just really wasn't conscious and aware of what was going on. And it really wasn't her fault for making me mad or making me feel some way. She wasn't trying to do that on purpose. Not that I know of, but but it more so weighs on me. I mean, it could be equal too, but I feel like it was more me. Maybe it wasn't, but I learned so much from this. Like I said, I don't argue with anybody all the time. I'm in control and I'm calm, and I know when to implement one of these feelings if I have to in certain given situations, but those are rare. But if I do, now I know. Of course, there's been a lot of things that epidemically brought me here. So this is the result, you know, and this is how everything's a plus now. This relationship I didn't see in the past, and it still is a plus, and I'm still friends with her. We don't hang out or anything, but we talk when I see her or whatever, and everything's fine, and I wish her the best. Everything's a plus that happens in each life, whether you realize it or not, and that's why I wanted to take away from this video. If you have any video requests, let me know. Tell me about your experience about relationships below, or any advice you have, and let's build a community. Subscribe to the channel, give me a like, stay tuned for more videos, and check out some of my other videos, because this isn't my only one, and I got a bunch of others. If you have any, like I said, any requests on any certain situations, let me know. If you need some help, message me. Have a great day, and thanks for tuning in. I'm honored that you watched this video.